everyone. Hey, what's up, guys? Hello, Stanley. Welcome back to Stanley Parable. None of my partners suggested them. I'm thirsty tonight. I don't know, but it feels like COVID. It feels like I have COVID. I'm just prepared when I have COVID. But I'm living that episode. Last episode we went through. Everything we never tried to do. But today I can see if you can just after something. I want you won't know it. Good to separate know that. Okay, please stop. Don't crash. Let's cross anyway. Okay, there we go. There we go. It took some time to load up the game. It kept stopping for some reason. I don't know why. It never happened last episode. Get my chat on. Okay, so I'm see if we can listen to the
all of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Yeah, no. I'm not going to the maneuver. Two doors already.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Why you suck? That's what's about. That's what's about every noise. Employee lounge.
Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
Can you stop us with Todd? Would like to get a soda? Cold drink.
Yes, really, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it.
Can I just come with this way?
At this point, Stanley's obsession with this room bordered on creepy and reflected poorly on his overall personality. It's possible that this is why everyone left. But at last, he'd had enough of the amazing room and took the first open door on his left to get back to business.
Nope. I found a shortcut. Wait. So just left back to the right at home.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
You suck. That's why. Can I take this stick thing and throw it out the window? I think this is a storage room. The unknown door. I need the key card. Penalty from the shooter for cargo lift, $1,000. Penalty for travel after cargo lift, $5,000. A passenger could get van for travel after cargo lift. Never knew that.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, Stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her.
Who's her? It's that bitch still retarded.
This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself, to put your work aside, to let her back into your life.
Who's her?
She's been waiting.
Get fools for a second. I would know who her is.
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this, to reach out to her. If you can truly place your faith in another, then pick up the phone.
Hello? Just a game crash. We did. Okay.
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right. Okay, there we go.
I can't
All right,
move.
now, I want you to come in and tell me all about
Your day. Gotcha. Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife who'd want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here. This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
Come on and play push to 7. Put P on the keyboard. Okay.
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence. Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life.
What about the push it out? Can I go?
But in his mind, he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful. And each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him.
I'm gonna keep my microphone here. I'll talk about this TV.
And so he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly.
The boy.
So he went further. He imagined that he came to 2 open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold.
Donna.
As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable.
He's not fishing the boats.
It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time.
But that's not my wife. Please just want to tell her about the lover. It's not my wife. That's just some plastic monolith with plastic tips and legs and everything.
But there is no answer. How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one. And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
That's pretty ignore you. So...
You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself?
As much as back to this stuff.
I suppose I can't, not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I...
excuse me? I ignored everything. Then I was told to. That's how I ended. Let's see. What is different?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
This is different.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well.
Shut up.
Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Wow, yes, this room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
I'm working on everything again. Look at this guy.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but... But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
So you don't have to be that doesn't done. We just have to put the plastic there. Oh crap.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open... This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley...
I'm gonna post it. Oh, okay. So just gotta put it again, but...
A soft wind blew outside and perhaps rain started, and if it did, it stopped shortly after. Stanley hoped that he would one day see weather.
A transition. Okay, bye. What do you think is escape route? What would happen then?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music.
Okay, crap line.
Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
Okay. So I'm going to go to the escape room. Go to the escape room. Let's go to the outside room. I'm going to see what the escape room holds. Oh, now it's better again. Yeah.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. Although this passageway had the word Escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death. The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
I'm trying to go back the edge. Don't put on responsive again. Thank you.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this life is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. So he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
You're stupid.
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish? When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead, from the moment he hit start.
The tutor. The sap tutors on the first country which the Stanley Parable decide. What this one was called, what's for the game emerged as the extension of it. The explosion of the contradiction. This will post. Is this aggressive? Ooh. Final carbon. Code. The page open section was important to get right. This code has been moved in order to make sure the people which is true due to this good time. Okay. Office layout. This blue pushes the office in the beginning of the game. The platform still is office, so the tutors with the first part of the game that was built. Sections have been added in order to direct development. Third, the course layout remains almost identical to the first iteration. Nature painting. Did you really? Or have you started the office as a possible? I like that over. I like all of these actually. I'm a twin nature. The office. Okay, I can't open it. Button sound. It's like the sound used throughout the game, where buttons were pressed. It shouts to mix up a keyboard stroke, and it still decides the tone. Okay. Excuse me? Davey winner. He's the creator of Epic Scar, I believe. But the best of what people play it. The office. Maintenance room. And only brush up the maintenance room. Are you seeing this right now? That's the copy machine. That part of Stanley Parable. It was different mixes to win. It was different mixes to lose. Not your words. And I quite crazy. Maybe it's the same image with that clock there before. Doesn't matter. I gotta go back. Can you check for me? When in September 2012. We sent with the Stanley Parable to win that. That is precisely about perfect game system. To win that spirit not only is due to cryptic bonus, which was still enough to put the community support. My answer is very edit. My number 2. Number 2. My Stanley. Nice Stanley. There are screenshots. I don't know about the play 50. Don't know. And all the inside push up the low. Yeah, it looks pretty too classic if I see so myself. The cargo. This static version looks really the same as which in the keep of the game. Everybody wanted to make it look more like a place where cock without the store. The cargo lifts without a tender, died for the truth. We're still on a jumper to the pit. However, after the only version, this time to be out there what is the object of a people to the dead. The apartment time. In the public version of the truth thing to the apartment end, a timer will give 50 seconds to pick up the phone. Not picking up the phone will lead to a different ending. Okay, I remember that. No, wait. Do the alphabet. something. True. We're back from we're taking this version of the game. We're back from teacher trailer with the code of the game development. It's about to convey something about the spirit of the game. This is the first part. Which March 2012. It features a series of broken world, no voice of the narrator, and from a view that is preparing a new version of the Stanley Parable. Huh? I hope this has a copyright or anything. Okay, bye. Okay. Wreden, I suppose I really understand the parable. We can see the good. I don't know if that would count an alternate answer. I gotta check this. Just put a name on it. Yeah, I'm going to disable state. I never just put the episode Stanley Parable. So from that temperature, I have to go to the film. You're not, you're true. 15 seconds. Look at that signal. I'm not calling. I just have to start picking up the phone for 15 seconds. It takes you to a different answer. So I will try that next episode. Here for now. Look at that much past the episode. If like them, we should drop a like. Subscribe to the channel for more awesome videos like this. See us there. Look right now, see you. It's next video. Bye.